You turn off the lamp, your phone is face down on the charger across the city, windows are going dark one by one. You close your eyes and wait for the familiar pull. It never comes. You are not restless. You are not wired. You feel completely fine. Your mind is clear. Your body is comfortable. And the clock says 9:47 a.m. That is when you understand what happened. You have been given 8 extra hours every day. That works out to roughly 121 extra days each year. Stretch it across a lifetime, and you get decades that were supposed to vanish in bed, decades for books, unfinished projects, long walks, and people you love. It sounds like the greatest biological upgrade our species has ever received, but it would not stay yours for long. The first night feels almost innocent. You make tea and sit by the window. The streets are empty because the city is still built for people who sleep, shops are closed, traffic lights change for nobody. You message a friend expecting them to see it in the morning, they answer immediately. By sunrise, everyone knows nobody needs sleep anymore for a while. The world treats it like a miracle. Dusty guitars come out of closets. People finally read the book that has followed them through 3 apartments. Parents sit on the floor with their children and stop checking the time. Students keep studying, then look up and realize the sun is already rising. Whole abandoned lives seem possible again. But in an office tower, somebody looks at the same miracle and sees 8 unbilled hours. Factories are the first to change. The machines can keep running because the workers can too. Offices add night teams. Deliveries start arriving at 4 in the morning. Markets stay open. Customer service becomes permanent. Schools begin asking whether 6 hours of class still make sense when children have an entire night available. Nobody orders you to work longer. Not yet. One employee volunteers for 10 hours, someone else offers 12. A third starts answering messages at 3 a.m. because it makes them look committed. Then your manager writes at 3:17, the message is friendly. Since everyone is awake anyway, would you be open to a more flexible schedule? You leave it unread for a few minutes, but someone else has already answered, someone with your qualifications, your bills, and a stronger reason to say yes. Humanity has gained 8 hours. Before anyone decides what those hours are for, the economy gives them a price. A year later, the city no longer closes. Rush hour has no edge. It thins out, then thickens again, but never disappears. Restaurants serve breakfast at midnight. Construction continues through what used to be the quietest part of the night. A delivery truck idles beneath your window while a television plays through the wall next door. There is no hour when you are not a possible worker, customer, viewer, or target. Our cities were built around synchronized unconsciousness. For a few hours every night, billions of people stopped driving and buying things. They stopped producing. They stopped asking for answers. They stopped watching one another. The world exhaled. Now it doesn't. Darkness used to be something we did together. Now it is just a setting on the lights. The change is the same for every human body, but the new time does not belong to everyone equally. A wealthy person can protect it. They can ignore the night messages, pay someone else to answer them, or disappear into a house where nobody is allowed to call. They can refuse an extra shift because the extra money changes nothing. Someone living close to the edge gets a different version of the miracle. Their 8 hours become rent, medicine, and a car payment. They take a second job because the second job is suddenly possible. And once it is possible, it becomes difficult to refuse. One person uses the night to build a company. Another spends it stocking that company as shelves. Same gift. Different owner, both wake on the same morning with 24 conscious hours ahead of them. One has more freedom than yesterday. The other has another shift. Children change next. There is no bedtime to negotiate and no nap to plan around. Parents never again hear a child insist they are not tired while falling asleep halfway through the sentence. Schools debate longer days. Streaming companies discover an entirely new stretch of childhood attention. At first, parents love the extra time. There are games on the floor, late walks, and questions that no longer have to wait until morning. Then the small rituals begin to disappear. Nobody gets carried upstairs, heavy and warm, after falling asleep in the car. Bedtime stories lose their appointed hour. Children no longer whisper beneath blankets after the lights go out. Birthdays do not begin with someone waking before the rest of the house and lying still in the dark, waiting for the day to start. And parents never again pause in a doorway to watch a child sleep. Sleep looked like empty time. It was also where we kept half the rituals of childhood. Adults lose something quieter. An argument no longer has to stop at midnight. Nobody is too tired to continue. Nobody gets to sleep on a decision. A fight can run through 2 in the morning, then 4, then breakfast with no natural point where both people surrender to silence. Partners notice every late message and every unexplained walk into another room. Parents are permanently available. Solitude becomes something you must request, schedule, and defend. Sleep used to be one of the few ways to disappear without hurting anyone. Feelings you did not answer because you were asleep. You did not explain yourself because you were asleep. For a few hours, being unreachable required no permission. Now, silence is deliberate. And deliberate silence makes people wonder what it means. Your body remains healthy. Your memory still works. Cells repair themselves while you walk around, answer messages, and make coffee. Nothing breaks, but you no longer dream. Nightmares vanish. So do the dreams in which a dead relative is alive again and sitting in a kitchen that no longer exists. You never wake from an impossible city with a feeling you cannot explain. You never return to your childhood home and find every room exactly where your mind left it. Every night, humans used to enter a private world that nobody else could reach. No employer could buy it. No company could advertise inside it. No partner could ask what you were doing there. It belonged to you even when you forgot it by breakfast. Dreams produced nothing measurable. They did not pave roads or extend business hours. Most disappeared within minutes of waking. That made them easy to dismiss. It also meant people did not understand what was gone until the language of dreams began disappearing with them. At the beginning, you thought sleep was a thief, 8 hours removed from every day, a third of your life spent unconscious. Take it away, and life becomes longer. But sleep did more than remove hours, it divided life into days. Monday ended because you surrendered to it. Tuesday began because you returned. A bad day had a wall at the end of it. A good one could be held for a moment, then released. Without sleep, experience has no natural cut. Yesterday leaks into today. Nothing finishes unless you decide that it has, and the rest of the world may not agree. The problem is not exhaustion. You never feel tired. The problem is that being able to continue is not the same as wanting everything to continue forever. So people rebuild the missing boundary. Cities schedule artificial darkness. Families create hours when nobody is allowed to speak or send messages. Some people lie in dark rooms with their eyes closed, perfectly awake, performing an old ritual their bodies no longer understand. Fake sunsets, manufactured silence, a bedtime without sleep. We would remove sleep, then spend years rebuilding the parts of it we actually needed. You are back in the bedroom, the phone is still charging, the room is dark, and you are wide awake. The silence feels different now. You once thought sleep stole your time. Now the whole world is awake, ready to ask what you plan to do with every minute you got back. Sleep was the boundary that kept those minutes from belonging to anyone else. It was the one place you could disappear without permission. Sleep was freedom.